All right, here's an easy project. Let's get this simple gas fireplace to work with a smart thermostat. So what we've got here is called a millivolt system, and they're really common. They do not plug in. They use a very tiny amount of electricity generated by the pilot light. And when we control this with a smart thermostat, we want to avoid sending the 24 volts that we're going to be generating into that. So I'm going to plug in a power supply back here, and we're going to be sending power up to the thermostat with a typical thermostat wire. You can see it right there. And then we'll be using a 24 volt relay switch to isolate the electricity so we don't get 24 volts going into our millivolt fireplace. So what we've got here is the isolation relay. It's called 9290. And when you look at these, you want to make sure you get the right voltage, because some might say 240 volt. This says 24 volt AC. That's what you want, 24 volt AC. And like I said, that just prevents the electricity from entering into that millivolt system right here, because that's not designed to handle 24 volts. It's designed to handle like less than 1 volt. But it's pretty simple, and I'll show you. I went ahead and mounted this switch onto a piece of sheet metal, kind of in the control center of the fireplace, and it'll get it off the ground. It'll get me close to those terminals on the left where I need to wire into to control the fireplace. Next, you need a 24 volt AC power supply. Don't confuse that and get a 24 volt DC power supply. Easy mistake. Okay, so I've got my power supply. It's not plugged in yet, but you're going to see the red and black wires. Connect the red to the red wire in your thermostat wire bundle. That is going to go up and become the R terminal in your thermostat. So pretty simple, red to red. So I folded everything back but red, white, and blue. Like I said, the reds are going to go together, and then the black and blue are going to go together into a female terminal. It's going to push into the male terminal on that switch. So let's crimp some terminals. So the reds are together now with a male and female. Next, let's put the black and blue together under a single female terminal. Finally, a female terminal for the white. So now we've got the reds together, we've got the black and blue together under a single female, and we've got the white under a female. And they are going to all go on to that relay switch. So we're going to use numbers 1 through 4, and we're going to ignore the 5 and 6 terminals. We're going to put white to 1 and blue to 3. Next, we need a jumper wire that goes from the switch to the fireplace, and I went with red and black wires, but it doesn't matter. So I put the black to the number 2 post and the red to the number 4 post. Now, when electricity comes in via the white and blue wires from the thermostat, it's not going to go across those red and black wires into the fireplace. That's what this switch's job does. And look at that. The instructions actually have steps on wiring in a switch. So we want to land one wire on the TPTH terminal and one on the TH terminal. So let's do that. You can see TPTH there on the top, and then TH is the one on the bottom, but the lettering's all worn off. Now I sent the number 2 terminal from the switch to the top post, the TPTH, and the number 4 to the bottom one, the TH. But honestly, I don't think it matters because it's just registering if the switch is open or closed. And we're done wiring down here. So next we can clean this all up and move on to the thermostat. So we've got our red, white, and blue wires again. The blue is the common wire. It correlates to the black on the power supply. And the red was, if you remember well, the red. And then the W is what the thermostat uses to communicate turning on and off the fireplace. Now, when you set up your thermostat, if you do a smart one like mine, it's going to ask you, what is this powering? And you'll be offered the option of like a furnace, which you'll say no, and then you might see boiler. Click boiler because it's just an on and off, and that's what you want, on and off. And you won't see an option for gas fireplace probably, but once I selected that on this Amazon thermostat, it was able to complete the setup and it works great. Well, if you found this helpful, please leave a like and feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts. Hope this helped, and see you on the next project.